Cool. Well, hello everyone. And this is the very regular Thursday slot with ScaleForEtail. And I am delighted today to say that we've got Amy, who's virtually traveled all the way over from Austin, Texas, which is why she looks so bright and sunny. I don't know how many of you have sun. I'm okay, actually, over here. How about everybody else? Have you got sun where you are, or is it rainy and grim? Hi, Phil. Hi, Emma Louise. Do just pop your name and tell us a bit about, how you're feeling today, and also what you'd like to get out of today. I think that would really help everyone because it's really lovely to see. We've got quite a good crowd today. A number of, we're oversubscribed on the webinar, so not everyone can join. But luckily, we've got a ton of people here. And so it's really lovely to see everybody. So let's call out some names. Hi, Kadri. Are you new? Oh, no, it's rainy in Hereford. Don't go there. Okay. Minnesota. Oh my God, we got someone from Minnesota. Oh, it's so nice that it's sunny there as well. Oh, and North Georgia. Oh my goodness. We've got people from all over the world. Amy, have you brought your...
I think so. Hello, Sharon. I see you, girl. I see you. Yeah, this is wonderful. It's great to see you all. And so I'm actually in San Antonio, Texas.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm only about an hour from Austin. So,
okay.
It's very close by. And Texas is a big place, but it's same weather as Austin is here in San Antonio. So it's very sunny. I think it's I have to give it to you guys in Celsius because, nobody understands Fahrenheit. It's 68 degrees here and it's 8 o'clock in the morning. So.
Yep, that is very nice and warm. And have you been to the gym? Because I know you're a bit of a gym buff.
Yeah, so I still got my gym clothes on this morning. I am a little bit of a gym rat. It's an important part of my day. I just kind of start off the day, get the blood pumping, get it going. And my husband and I do kind of competitive weightlifting. And I don't like to call it CrossFit right now because CrossFit is under some political scrutiny, right? But we do enjoy, a high intensity interval training workout. So
cool. Very good. Excellent. Good. So we are going to have an amazing session today. We were talking about it earlier that Amy has tried to condense 3 hours worth of training into a 1 hour session. That's all we've allocated. So if she talks fast, then you know why. And we've made sure she's pumped full of adrenaline as well. So if you have questions, it's probably best for you to pop them into the questions area on the right-hand side of your screen. For those who are new, that's how we usually try and do things. If you do pop them into the chat area, of course, we'll try and answer them, but we might miss them and we don't want to. So do try and put them into the Q&A area. We will make sure that we go through them, but we'll probably try and do that at the end so that we kind of allow Amy to go through it all. And the reason, that I'm really excited today is because I think everybody on this call, and I really want everybody on this call to get a breakthrough. Looking for products on Amazon can be something that feels like a game of diminishing returns. And it also can feel sometimes a little bit like everything is gone. Everything is saturated. There's nothing out there anymore. And I've heard that from so many sellers over the course of time. Should I still do it? Is Amazon still the place to be, the game, et cetera, et cetera? And I think the answer is yes, it is. But you really do need to use your imagination and creativity and listen and see what the signs and the trends are. And so what Amy's going to do today is to give you a proper system. In fact, you're going to get a workbook. So for those of you that like homework and continuity, because we are going to do some more sessions, but for those of you who actually want to work through the process, we'll give you a tool that will allow you to do that. But above all, I really hope and wish for everyone a massive breakthrough in how to do product ideation. Okay, cool. Over to Amy.
All right. Well, I agree completely. I think that it is something that so many people struggle with. It really is hard, because just yesterday I was going back to my old days of doing wholesale and retail arbitrage, and I was looking through some liquidation offers online, because right now so many retailers and stuff have even small retailers and everything have lost their businesses due to COVID, and there is a massive amount of inventory available for you to buy. Right. And some people are going to be really good at that. They're going to be really good at flipping those products across multiple channels, and it's going to be awesome. Right. So I went on those liquidation offers yesterday, and I was going through them, and I just went back to Old Faithful, which is, I started looking through some of these, and I was like, there's just no guarantee there that I'm not going to put that product out on Amazon and there's going to be 30 other sellers that are competing with me, and I'm going to have to play the games again. And I don't like to play games. I like to be the first to market with an awesome trend, and I don't have to spend a lot of money on advertising, and I can be proud of my product, and I know that customers are going to love it. And so I went right back to Old Faithful, and I said, you know what? I've got 3 products on my list right now that people are going to be excited to buy, and that I know they're going to be excited to buy. So I'm going to stop the squirrels. I have squirrel syndrome often. I love to go off on tangents. I love to go off and look at things, but I stopped the squirrel yesterday, and I was like, nope, I'm not going to get distracted by this. I'm going to go right back to my products that are doing great, and my new products that are on my list that I have validated and I know people are going to buy and they're going to be excited about, and I'm going to get moving on those. So that's what I hope to bring to you guys today. I hope to really bring you some techniques that you can use to study the market. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and let's get started, because I've got 60 plus slides to get through. And I just really wanted to pack everything in, because it's really important to give you guys as many tools as possible to move through this process so that you can take your own ideas and kind of hopefully do the same thing. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and forgive me, this is new for me. This system is new for me. So I am going to, make it look professional here. All right, we got the infinite windows. Hopefully you guys can see my screen.
Yeah, we can.
Good. So I cannot see myself. So, if I have a hair out of place or something, let me know. And I cannot see the chat window, but feel free to put your questions in there. And as I have a couple of breaking points in these slides. So as I get to the breaking points, I'll come back in and I'll check the questions real quick, and we can run through those so that we don't get too far past a section of slides where you guys have questions. Okay. But don't worry. I'm here as long as I can be here to answer your questions and get through this. So we are going to be talking about a new process for product research today. I promise you haven't learned this process somewhere else, at least not if you're usually taking Amazon-based training, because this is based on the same processes that you learn in maybe business school, but that buyers use, buyers of retail stores, they use these processes to really figure out what new products they should bring to their stores. So I want to teach you these same techniques so that you can bring new cool things to your store, whether that store is on Amazon or eBay or your own Shopify store. But let's get started. So who the heck am I? If you haven't heard of me or met me or, anything, just a little background on me. I am a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a cat lover. So my private label brand is based around cats. In fact, I invented this product over here called Sifties, and it's a better way to clean the cat litter box. So I invented it, patented it, went through the whole product development process from scratch, found a manufacturer, had molds made, and this product is actually manufactured in Dallas, Texas. But I also have I have 3 different private label brands, and I have many products also made in China. I do China trips. So, we go to China twice a year, except for this year, of course. But I love sourcing. I love helping other people source. I love helping people protect their ideas. I'm a board member at my state's Inventors board. And I also own a company called Amazing at Home. And that is my consulting firm. And that's where I help people, develop products, build their brands, bring products to market. I have a podcast for Amazon sellers called the Seller Roundtable with my partner, Andy Arnott. And then I also own a company called Rebate Jet. And that is where you can, put your products out there to get rebates on them or offer rebates to your customers. And you can then, if you don't have a big email list or something during launch, you can get some extra sales velocity from that. So that's helpful, right? So I have these 4 online companies that I run, and I left my job in October of 2018. So I've been a full-time entrepreneur for just over 2 years, or just under 2 years, excuse me. But it has been a wild ride, and I've had a lot of fun with it. So our curriculum and your bite. The reason I put this out there is because I have a mastermind group and a full private label course, right, where I teach all of these things. And you guys are just getting this small bite of this curriculum. So what you're missing out of this curriculum is, we talk about, listing optimization was our April topic. And so we had 10 hours of training on listing optimization, everywhere from defining your differentiation all the way to, launching your products with your listings. And then we got into our private label curriculum where we talk about business models. A lot of you are selling white label products and you're actually thinking that they're private label. And that's okay. But sometimes, private label also comes along with some additional benefits because you can actually protect your differentiation. And so you don't have to deal with hijackers and that kind of stuff. So we'll be talking about some of that today. But I always start off my private label training with, hey, what business model, different types of business models are available and which one is right for your business. And so we have people in our group that are doing a combination of white label, commodity, private label products. It's about what's right for you and the risk and rewards that go along with each type of product. So anyway, then, I teach about maximizing profits, understanding your numbers, maximizing your margins for scalability. I teach how to use multipliers in order for, people to be able to very easily see when they're thinking of a product idea, whether or not that product idea is going to be profitable for them. So what are we covering today? Today, we're going to cover a little bit of my ideation class. So each of these classes that we're going to cover is an hour long on its own. So it's very in-depth. So I've had to kind of take some of that information out to streamline it for you guys. But we're going to cover a little bit of, how to come up with ideas. Then we're going to cover how to discover your niche a little bit more and find opportunities. And then we're going to cover some market research and competitive analysis. So after that, in the mastermind group, we cover, how to actually pick winners from your list of ideas. There's, some criteria of a winning product. And then I actually talk about validation, because my whole goal in my private label course and curriculum is confidence. That's the one thing that we entrepreneurs need more than anything else, right? When you're considering going to market with a new product, if you don't have that confidence, it can be really, really hard because you're not sure if it's going to sell. You're not sure how many you should order. You're not sure, if someone's going to steal your idea. You have all these uncertainties. So my curriculum is designed to reduce those uncertainties and increase your confidence so that you can confidently launch products now and into the future. So anyway, we don't need to cover this too much more. In June, this month's over here on the right side, June's curriculum is focused on actually developing products, because a lot of people are afraid to differentiate simply because they're not sure how to develop a product, right? So if I want to make a really cool change to a product, if I want to differentiate it, I might not be able to do that with confidence if I'm not sure how to actually find the right supplier, develop that product, draw up the specs, protect that idea. So I have a full month of curriculum really focused on that. And then in July, we're getting into sourcing. And in August, we're getting into setting up your business and your brand and, all of that, the really great foundation stuff. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys that this is just kind of one bite of a larger piece of curriculum. All right, so our agenda for this first portion, this ideation portion, is we're going to talk about why differentiation matters, how to get some inspiration for ideation, and then your niche opportunities. So let's get into it. The importance of product choice. And I would love to see this in the chat here from you guys, or in the Q&A if you'd like. But it all comes down to choosing the right product. How many of you believe that? Do you believe that it comes down to choosing the right product, right? Because the right product, right, it can lead us down so many roads, right? If we don't have enough demand for our product, we've got problems, right? If we have too much competition, now we're in a price war, right? Or we're paying way too much for advertising, right? If customers have too many choices and our product is not differentiated enough, we now are paying for so many clicks that do not lead to sales. So also, when we don't choose a differentiated product, we're limited in the sales channels we can sell in. So for example, if I have a cool differentiated product, I can now take that into different department stores and sell it there. I can sell it into small specialty retailers. I can sell it in catalogs. I can sell it in multiple e-retail channels, such as, Wayfair, Wish, even you can sell on Alibaba now. But there are many different channels. All of these retailers also usually have e-tail channels as well. And you can sell in those channels if you have a differentiated product, because their buyers are not necessarily going to be able to get their hands on your differentiation, right? You own that differentiation. The other problem with not having a differentiated product is that it's really easy to copy. If I go ahead and say, okay, well, I'm going to bring this water bottle to market in green because nobody's selling a green one, but then how easy is that to copy? Right? Somebody else can come right in. In fact, the factories can come right in. And now Amazon is going direct to those factories and is saying, hey, we want you to list on our platform so that we can offer the lowest prices to our customers. Well, how are you going to compete with that factory when they can very easily copy you and come out with their green version tomorrow, right? So it's really important that our differentiations are not so easy to copy. Next, if it's a Me Too product or something that is very easy to get your hands on, consumers are not going to care about the brand, right? They're not going to care about the brand. Over 70% of the searches on Amazon are generic searches, meaning T-shirt. They're not searching for Nike. They're searching for T-shirt, right? So if customers don't care about the brand, they also don't care about the price. They're going for the lowest price that they can get. They're not as interested in the high-end branding when it comes to generic products, right? So it's really also difficult to create a brand story and a following if you're selling a product that is easy to get as a commodity, right? If it's easy to get at your local department store in the checkout lane, if it's easy to get at the dollar store, it's really hard to get people excited about following you, right? If you think about the brands that you really love, those brands are the brands that seem like they understand you. They really, really understand your needs and your wants. So product choice is so, so, so important. So in order for you to experience growth, you want to launch a unique product that meets a demand in the marketplace that currently isn't being filled with other products. When you do this, you can experience extreme growth, right? These are the products that are featured on your product research software, right? There's medium demand and low competition. That's what you guys are looking for on your product research software, right? But what if you could be first to market with one of those products? If you can be first to market with one of those products, you get all of those sales that brand that you're going over after and trying to beat is getting. So it's really, really great to be able to be first to market. And that's what I'm going to teach you today. I'm going to teach you how to find those opportunities, not using product research software, but by studying the market so that you can be first to market with a unique opportunity for customers to find that they're actually looking for. And none of these products that you find using this technique is going to be on these product research software, right? Because product research software only looks at products that are currently selling. And so you're not going to find a really cool differentiation that people are looking for by searching through product research software. And this is the best way to break that cycle of getting stuck and looking through that product research software and finding opportunities that are going to be really cool, easy differentiations that you can bring to market and be first to market with that trend. So the results of the right product, when you choose the right products that people are actually looking for, that meets a need that is currently unmet in the marketplace, you're going to create raving fans because people are going to be like, oh my gosh, I've been talking about this. I've been looking for this product everywhere. You're going to control the price because people need what only you have and they are willing to pay for it. So instead of you being stuck in a price war and a race to the bottom, you're going to be able to stay at your price, which is a really, really wonderful thing for your margins. You can also protect your idea when you own the molds and have control over your supply chain. So when you come up with a unique idea or a unique differentiation to an existing product, you get to own that differentiation, and there are ways to protect it. And that's a really, really wonderful thing when you don't have your factory selling this cool differentiation to every trading company or listing it themselves on Amazon against you. So it's a really, really great thing. You can sell in multiple channels beyond Amazon. We've talked about that already. Your product life cycle lasts much, much longer, right? So if you bring a Me Too product to the market, you're going to have a very short life cycle. You might be able to make, and I'm not mad at you, if you're making money with Me Too products and you're able to kind of catch that trend early, that's great. More power to you. But with my products, I'm able to sell them sometimes 3 to 5 years without having to have a price war to the bottom, without having to, have this problem where I have to keep dropping my price or spending too much on advertising. Wouldn't it be nice if you could keep reordering the same product for, 2 years or longer and continue to get sales at that price? That's what happens when you differentiate, right? And of course, it depends on what exactly that trend is, that opportunity trend that you're going after and how long that trend lasts. In the case of my cat litter box cleaner, well, that trend is going to last a long time. So I'm going to be able to do pretty well with my differentiation for a long time. It's also easier to build a brand and have a story when you're meeting the needs of your people. So for example, if you come out with a unique product for runners, right? And people are like, yes, runners need this. This thing is amazing, right? People are going to be drawn to your brand and they're going to be excited about the next thing that you bring to market. All right. This is the importance of choosing a niche. I want to tell you guys a story, and I would love to hear how many of you have been in this same situation. When I first got started building my brands, I've been on Amazon since 2007, so a very, very long time. But I was flipping products back then. I didn't actually start my private label journey until 2017. But But I would love to hear how many of you feel pressured to launch a million different brands and a million different products. How many of you feel pressured to scale to 800 SKUs? Right? Because we always hear these stories. We hear these stories of, you know, our 7-figure sellers and our 8-figure sellers, and they've got, you know, my partner on my podcast, Andy Arnott, he has like 800 SKUs, right? And so the problem with that is, and at one time when I got back from Canton Fair, the first time, my first trip to China, when I got back from Canton Fair, I had 24 products over here on my whiteboard on my launch list. And none of them were focused on my niche. Like maybe one of them was focused on my niche, but I was convinced that I was going to start all these new brands that had nothing to do with my current niche. And I felt this pressure to launch all these products. I was like, you know, I can do it. I know how to create a brand. I know how to do the trademark and the website and all of this. But what I realized is all of that takes a lot of work. Every time you're going to start up a new brand, you got to fight new trademarks. You got to kind of go through this whole process. And what happens is you don't focus on the customer that you've already acquired with your existing brands. So when I lost focus of my existing customer for my cat and my pet product brands, and I started trying to launch all these new brands, what do you think happened to my sales? I had all these opportunities to sell my current products better, but I lost focus. I kept thinking, oh man, I need to launch so many more brands. And I didn't need to. So all of those products are now gone from my whiteboard, and I am focused on expanding in my niche because I have an email list. I have a messenger bot list. I have followers, and I can continue to go back to those followers, and I can continue to grow that brand and bring new and unique products in my niche with the customers that are already there for me. And Amazon has changed. Amazon is no longer the place where you can just put a product up there and it will sell. How many of you believe that, right? Because it has really, really changed. 3,000 new sellers every day, and it has really become a saturated marketplace. I know so many of my clients who have launched kind of the higher end homeware types products are having such a hard time. They're having such a hard time because Amazon has become the low price leader for these kinds of products. And so it's very, very hard for them to compete, right? But if we are very focused on our niche, if we are very focused on this customer, and we stop getting distracted by all these products and feeling the need to scale to 800 SKUs, and we focus on our margins, I have 20x margins on some of my products. Do you know what that means? That means that I'm buying products for $2 and I'm selling them for $60, right? So that's amazing margins. You too can achieve those margins. And when you have really great margins on differentiated products, you can have just 2 or 3 products and make a killer profit. Right now, I'm in talks with another major pet brand, and we're going to be partnering together. And I'm talking with this CEO, and he is a 7-figure brand. He's had over 7 figures in revenue, and I'm only at 6 figures in revenue right now. I'm on my way to 7, but I'm at 6 figures in revenue. And we sat down together and we said, how can we come together, and what can, you know, I could learn a lot from you. You're at 7 figures in revenue. Then we started talking about my products versus his, and we sell a lot of very similar products. And we kind of differentiate the same way, which is cool. But the difference was that my products were at insane multipliers. My profits were extremely higher than his profits. So he wanted to go with my suppliers and my contracts because I'm making more money than him with every single sale. So that's the thing. That's the difference. Do you want to be like the 7-figure seller who's barely breaking even at that 30% profit margin after advertising? Or do you want to have amazing margins and a unique product and be able to make a ton of profit off just 2 or 3 products? And that is what my goal is to teach everybody. Hey, our 30% profit margin is not enough. We've got to do better. So how do we do that? We need to have we need to stick with our niche, and we need to have unique targeting. with a unique selling proposition, and that is going to equal sales. So unique targeting, that means we're targeting a specific audience, and we're going to get into this, and a unique selling proposition. That means that we are going to actually be selling something to that audience that's unique. So I give this 14, which would you rather be? Would you rather be this 14 pack of dog toys that's a little bit of everything? Or would you rather be Kong, who is very specifically targeting aggressive chewers, right? With a uniquely shaped product that they have protected. They've become a leader in the industry, right? And how did they do that? Because they use unique targeting. They're targeting aggressive chewers, dogs that are aggressive chewers, and they have a unique selling proposition. Their material is unique, their shape is unique, and that equals sales for them. So that is what we really need to be focusing on, right? Would you rather sell dog toys in general, or would you rather sell indestructible dog toys for aggressive chewers? All of us would rather sell indestructible dog toys for aggressive chewers, that we can protect that differentiation, right? We can control the price. We can sell far more. We can gain the trust of our following. That is an incredible place to be. All right. So how do you come up with these ideas for your niche, right? I want you to make a list of your hobbies and interests. What do you spend your free time doing? What could you talk about for hours for free? And I have to tell you guys, so many people have come to me and they have told me, well, Amy, I really love cooking. I really love, I love sports. I love cooking. But those niches are too saturated. I can't sell in those niches. How many of you believe that the things that you're actually interested in, it's too saturated and you can't sell in those niches? I would love to know how many of you feel that way. Well, I want to break that belief today, because that's BS. There is absolutely opportunity in every single one of your niches, because the people in those niches have needs that are not being met by every product on the market. And all you have to do is discover those needs and bring those products to market. And you can do that by breaking down situations. Okay, so this is your exercise that I'm going to give you. In my ideation class and my mastermind group, I give 4 different exercises to come up with ideas. But obviously we don't have time for that today. So I'm just going to give you this exercise to discover opportunities in your niche. So you're going to write down a list of your hobbies. And I want you to break down 2 or 3 situations or events related to that hobby. So I wrote down my hobbies here. I like to play poker. So I'm going to break down the situation of throwing a poker party. I like to host a backyard pool party. I'm going to do the same thing, right? Making my morning coffee or shake, my protein shake. Organizing my home office. Preparing to go to the gym. Packing my bag to go to the gym. Caring for my cats. Packing for a vacation. Going to the airport. Having everything that I need. So you can take each one of these situations, and I don't want you to go on your computer and go, okay, wait, what kind of products could I sell for throwing a poker party? That's not what I want you to do. I want you to sit down and think through your experience of throwing a poker party. So no computer involved. Sit down with a pencil and a piece of paper, or a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to think through the situation. So if I'm throwing a poker party, I'm thinking through the situation, and I think, okay, the first thing that I have to do is I have to count poker chips, because I have 10 people coming over to my house for this poker party. I have to count poker chips. So I get out my poker chip set, and this process is so frustrating for me because I never have the chips that I need. I run out of 5s, and then I've got to recount all my piles. And, I try to give everybody like $1,000 in chips. And, so that right there is a pain point for me. So I write that down. I'm like, okay, you know what? I really would like to have a poker chip set that is pre-counted, that all I have to do is pull out the trays and it's already ready for my home poker party. So I just write that idea down. Now I'm not going to product research software at that time. I'm not going to Amazon and checking if somebody else is selling that. I'm just writing that idea down. And now I'm continuing on with the next thing. Okay, after I put my poker chip sets together, or after I count my poker stuff, now I've got to figure out a way to count the money that people come in and they pay they pay their buy-in to play the game. So I have to have their names on a list. And every time I have to recreate this sheet on a notepad. And I think, oh my gosh, that's another idea right there. It would be really nice to buy a pre-printed one for home poker games. So I know if they've bought in, if they've rebought, it has a place for their name, basically the same thing that I'm hand making on my notebook every single time. So I write that down. That's another idea. Okay, then I move to the next one. And I think, okay, what do I do next? Okay, next, I set up the tables for my poker party, right? And you guys, I have these ugly green felts. They have like wood underneath them, and I open them up and they go over the top of my tables, but they're really, really nice. And they have never been washed. I mean, these things are hard to clean. So then I'm thinking, oh, you know what? It would be really nice to have a felt tabletop that actually like cinched down to the poker table that was like nice and flat like these are, but that I could pick up and wash afterwards. So I write that idea down, right? And then I'm thinking, okay, I got to set up the top of the poker table. I need to, okay, now I got to get out my dealer buttons and, all of my chips for that and my cards. And then I think about, man, I can never find my dealer buttons. There is no set up the tabletop thing for poker that is sold altogether. There's nothing. So I always have to go throughout my house and find these things. And I end up using things in my house to replace it because nobody sells this together. So I write that down. Okay, it would be really nice to have a set specifically for setting up your tabletop with your dealer buttons and your cards and some place to store all of that. Okay, great. Another idea, right? Now I'm not even through setting up the tables yet. And you guys see how many ideas I already have. Okay, so then I move into the kitchen and I go, okay, next I got to set up food for the people coming over for my poker party. And, I think about it and I'm like, I would really love to have some barware. Everybody loves to drink when they play poker. I would really love to have some barware that didn't look cheesy. Everything for poker on the market is totally casino party cheesy. It's not, and maybe that's a Wisconsin word. I don't know if you guys know what cheesy means, but it's like lame, right? It's not cool. But if I had an awesome barware set with like a badass poker design on it, everybody coming over for my poker party would be like, where did you get that? I need one. Because everyone takes pride in throwing their poker parties. So now I'm going to write that down, right? I'm going to write down, oh man, okay, really cool barware or serveware, right? There's nothing to serve food on that's actually nice for poker. It's all cheesy casino party stuff. So I write those ideas down. So now I have a whole list of ideas, and you guys can do this for anything related to your niche, right? And you can use that list of ideas, and then you can use this process that we're going to cover today to basically figure out if those are great opportunities in the marketplace. And you can do all of this without ever needing to really touch product research software other than to check similar products and how well they're selling. Okay. So you get the idea. I haven't even fully moved through my poker party example, but I want you guys to do the same thing. I want you to write down every experience that you have, break down these opportunities in your niche, and write down specific situations, things that you run across. And this could be driving your kids to school. This could be, making your coffee. This could be cooking a spaghetti dinner for your family. What are those things, specific situations, and what are the things that you touch during that time that you wish could be better, that you wish could change, that you wish you could make different? Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing for a minute now that we're going to get into this next segment, and I'm going to come back over here and check how everything is going.
Yeah, cool. I don't think we've got any questions yet.
Okay.
Although quite a bit of agreement here with you in the chat box. So you definitely got people engaged, but we probably should just move on to the next section.
Okay, good. Let's do it. All right. It looks good. It seems like a lot of people are, Sharon says, I want profit. I like that. Me too, Sharon. Me too. Okay. So let's go back to screen sharing and let's get right into it. So now you guys have an exercise that you can do, and you are going to Find opportunities in your niche with your list of products. So the goal here is to further explore your product ideas. So you have this list of ideas from this exercise that you did, and I want you to refine the opportunity for each product in your list. So how are we going to do that? We're going to make sure that, we remember the keys to success, which is targeting plus our unique selling point. And then we're going to study the idea and identify the needs. Then we're going to break down the situation for the customer, their problems and solution, and we're going to refine the opportunity. So my example today is a toy for dogs. And now the reason I picked this example is because I'm not a dog owner. I'm not even into dogs, right? But because if I went right to cats, I know that niche. I've been selling in that niche, so I want to pick something that I'm not as familiar with so that it forces me to really explore the idea to teach you guys how to do that. So my example today is a toy for dogs. And what I want you guys to do is take your example and further explore the opportunity for each product on your idea list. So we aren't sure yet what this toy is going to be. We know that there might be an opportunity in toys for dogs, but we're going to explore this idea further. So remember, the key to success is that you need to be targeting the right people in a niche and addressing needs not being met by other businesses. So your success formula is unique targeting plus your unique selling proposition is going to equal sales for you. So for example, pet supplies is a really broad niche. It can have countless sub niches. So harnesses for bulldogs, toys for dogs, treats for cats. Let's go over some examples. So for example, harnesses for dogs, that's broad targeting, right? That doesn't go with our success formula. Who is the bulldog owner going to buy from? Is the person who owns a bulldog going to buy from a general harness seller, a generic harness seller, or are they going to identify with the brand that specifically is targeted to the bulldog? They're going to buy from the brand that's specifically targeted to bulldogs. Look at this. On Rover, they actually are featuring products, the 6 best harnesses for bulldogs. So what would we rather have? We don't want to be selling this just general, like, oh, I'm going to sell a harness for dogs. No, we want to really get into a targeted niche and really meet the bulldog owner's needs. So this focused targeting equals a trusted brand. And trust is so important. So we want to be the big fish in a small pond instead of selling everything to everyone. Why? Number one, because it gives us better search visibility. You know that being found online is the most important part of selling online. We need to be on page 1, right? In order to be on page 1, we need to have that unique targeting. So for example, unicorn birthday party supplies for girls, people looking for that are much more likely to buy your product if it's unicorn related, right? Than if you're just trying to sell just general party supplies. If you're trying to sell general party supplies, you're going to be spending a lot of money in advertising and you're going to be buried in search results, right? Now, unicorns have become so popular, but I did once have a client who actually designed this eyelash unicorn. She was the first one to market with this eyelash unicorn design, and she had so many sales. And so that's the thing. She noticed a trend and she was first to market with that trend. And people looking for unicorn stuff saw her unique differentiation. And now you can see everybody's copying her. She was not able to actually protect her design with her supplier. And that supplier ended up selling it everywhere. And that is how this eyelash unicorn became popular everywhere. The second benefit is a higher profit margin, right? Because you can control the price. So if I'm selling specifically harnesses for bulldogs, I'm going to be able to sell it for a higher price because it's specifically designed for that animal, and I'm going to gain the trust of that customer, okay? So they're going to be able to, they're going to have more trust, and they're going to go, okay, this one's only $17, but this one over here is specifically for bulldogs, and it's $25. It must be, it must be better for my pet, right? So the third benefit of being a big fish in a small pond is higher organic sales and lower advertising costs. Longer tail keywords are going to have less advertising cost than broad, very simple keywords. So for example, we got dog harness over here. The cost per click is $1.33. Dog harness for an English bulldog, cost per click, 67 cents, right? So which one would you rather be able to rank for and target? Do you want to be stuck in the dog harness section, or do you want to be able to sell to people specifically looking for the dog harness for the English bulldog or for the French bulldog? All right. So then the last benefit here is it's easier to build a captive audience. If I'm over here trying to create and you guys know, like nowadays, we've got to create our brand presence off of Amazon to succeed on Amazon. External traffic is a winner. It is a winner. We want to make sure that we can rank off of Amazon and send that traffic to Amazon, which is a trusted source, right? So the thing is, if I'm specifically making harnesses for bulldogs, I'm going to be able to get in these top 10 reviews. I'm going to be able to get with that bulldog influencer who has a special page for their bulldog. I'm going to be able to get with them and be like, hey, I created harnesses just for bulldogs. Do you want to be my influencer? If I'm just a general dog harness seller, what influencer is going to be excited to work with me, right? And then look at all the hashtags that I can take advantage of, right? It's targeted audiences. So you really want to get into a niche and really target your products toward a specific niche and audience. So an overview of the process we're going to go over. We're going to study our product idea. We're going to identify customer needs and wants, and this is all going to be in your workbook. We're going to study the market offerings. We're going to identify whether or not those offerings meet those needs and wants. We're going to break down that customer situation. We're going to identify the main problem for our customer and all potential solutions. And then we're going to pick the best solution suited to your brand's focus and the opportunity you discovered. And then we're going to further break down that solution to identify all potential products and differentiations. So this is an overview of the process that we're going to go through. Now, I've got new folks in my mastermind group, and their biggest concern is always, Amy, how long does all of this take, right? They're looking for the easy way out, right? And in the beginning, when you first learn this process, it does take a little bit longer. But after you get to know this process and you've done it a couple of times, you can run through this whole process in about an hour, which is really, really cool. You can come up with a product where you're going to be first to market with something people are actually searching for that nobody else has on the market. You can be first to market with a product like that in just an hour of research. Yes, I'll take that all day long. So the first step is we're going to study the idea. So we're going to study toys for dogs. And what I did is I used Neil Patel's app's Uber Suggest. So in the interest of time, I'm not actually going to get into all of these apps, but I do have a lot of screenshots here to show you. So if we search toys for dogs on Neil Patel's Uber Suggest, and this tool just basically shows us across the internet what kind of things are people searching for. And we can see we get suggestions, we get related keywords, we get questions, prepositions, and comparisons. So we look and we see toys for dogs. What are our long tail pain points here? Look at that. Toys for dogs that chew. Toys for dog chewers. Who chew? Toys for dogs, Amazon. That's a good one, right? People are looking on Amazon for that. And durable toys for dogs. So what do we identify as the problem for people looking for toys for dogs? We already see that it's really a chew thing, right? They're looking not necessarily for toys for fun. They want to give their dogs something to chew on. So now we start looking at needs and wants of the customer. And so we have toys for dogs, and we've got keyword ideas, how to make toys for dogs. Wow. Whenever people are looking for DIY, it's a good sign because that means they're making it themselves because what is on the market is not good enough for them. So you can now utilize all of these DIY ideas that people are making themselves, and you could potentially bring one of those DIY ideas to market. So toys for dogs who like to chew. Okay, another problem identified. Home alone, like to dig, like to shred. So look at this. All of these are related to the dog needing to be entertained, right? chewing and entertained. So we're getting to know our customer simply by looking at the keywords that they search for. Then we have these other keywords here: cheap toys, best chew toys, tough toys, puzzle toys. Again, all of it related to chewing and keeping your dog entertained. So now we're understanding the customer and why they buy toys. So then we look at related articles. So Ubersuggest shows us Facebook engagement and Pinterest, as well of all of these top toys for dog articles. So we can see this one is brain teasing toys for dogs who are too smart for their own good. All right, this one has had 11,500 engagements on Facebook and 1,300 on Pinterest. Pretty cool, right? So we can look at what keywords this is ranking for. We can go and read these blogs, and we can take a look at them and see what kind of information it can glean for us about this customer. So we can read all these blogs, we can check them out, and this is part of the process. But it's really great to see what kind of articles are ranking for toys for dogs. So then we really want to focus on this problem and need. As we mentioned, we saw chewing, we saw home alone, we saw toys for dogs with no teeth, keep them busy, toys for dogs to chase, toys for dogs with separation anxiety. So we can look at these problems and needs, and we can look at the current solution. So we've got separation anxiety. The solutions could be toys, and what else? What else do people use for separation anxiety? I don't know. We can look at that and see. We're discovering opportunities in our niche. We know, okay, these are the problems that people have identified for toys for dogs. All right, for them to chase, what's that all about? For them to keep them busy. Okay, for them when they're home alone, toys, what other solutions are there? So now I start getting into this problem of separation anxiety. And I start understanding, all I do is I go on Google and I type in dog separation anxiety, and look at this. I've got all kinds of additional information here. Let me tell you guys, the search bar is one of my favorite keyword tools because search engines are specially designed to keep people happy. The search engine wants to keep people happy. So if Google is your favorite search engine, it's probably your favorite search engine because it gives you the most relevant results based on what you're looking for. So you can utilize these suggestions in the search bar to glean more information about what people are looking for. You can use the search bar in Google, in Pinterest, on Reddit, on Amazon, and that will help you identify what people are searching for. So we can see, separation anxiety, the solutions are right here. CBD, signs. People want to know more about signs. They want to read about it on Reddit. Toys for separation anxiety, a vest, medication, training, in the crate, and music. Very cool. So we're learning a lot about this. Some of the most common ways that dogs deal with their behavior problems when they're left alone are digging and scratching at doors and attempting to reunite with their owners, destructive chewing, howling, barking, and whining. So now we see this ties back to the toys, right? Because people are buying toys for their dogs because they're chewing, because they're scratching. They want to keep them entertained because they have this separation anxiety. So now we get into chewing. Let's discover chewing more. How to stop chewing. And we've got, the problem of stopping chewing. We've got how to stop the dog from chewing their paws, chewing on wood, how to stop dog chewing spray. And so we're just kind of learning more about dog chewing problems, right? And this is just on Ubersuggest. We're putting this search term into here. And then we get into how to stop chewing, stop dog chewing. We can see all the articles, right? And so we can read all these articles and see what kind of solutions people are using and whether or not they're working, right? We can look at these comments on Facebook for any of these articles, and we can see what are people talking about. How much information do you think you're going to get from there about what customers are experiencing? It's really going to take you on a journey of understanding the customer, and that's what it's all about. You want to be able to bring a product to market that is going to be, that the customer is going to see it and they're going to go, yes, That's what I've been talking about. That's exactly what I've been complaining about. I need this in my life. Yes, this brand understands me. And this is the process that you can go through to get an understanding of that customer. So now let's look at problems and solutions for chewing. So I put in dog chew on Google. Oh, sorry. I put in dog chew. Actually, this is from Amazon. And I get toys, bones, toys for aggressive chewers, toys for puppies, ropes. So I kind of learn more about what kind of things people are buying by just putting dog chew into Amazon. And then I look up this blog article. Here are 8 things pet parents can do to deal with dog or puppy chewing habits that are out of control. Be attentive, contain the situation, leave your scent behind, put away anything that the dog can chew on. So I can potentially identify, just like we broke down the situation of the poker party, this is breaking down the customer's situation of them having to deal with puppy chewing habits that are out of control, right? So now I can go, okay, is there a product opportunity in any of these problems, right? So now I look at my current market knowledge of this situation. So I bring up this article that was on the previous slide, and I read this blurb about containing the situation. If you leave your dog alone, it's best to keep him confined. So these experts are recommending crates. They're recommending that in order to stop your dog from chewing, that you really need to keep your dog in a crate and train them. Crate training is the way to help your puppy get over chewing. And that is what all of these SPCA and pet articles are recommending. So I'm kind of reading this and I'm seeing a trend. Puppies begin chewing because they're alone and they're bored, right? So it says it's best to keep them confined and keep them away from undesired chewing targets. So I look at my current market knowledge and I think about it. I'm like, okay, crates really suck. And crate training is hard, but there's not really a good solution on the market for that actually solves all of these problems, right? Like a toy that offers a solution for boredom and anxiety and crating and timing of keeping them in the crate and your scent, leaving your scent behind, right? Because that's important for calming. So there's no really good solution for this. So let's start discovering it more. So now we can look, okay, well, is there a better crate or experience? So I search for, you can see on Google, people also ask, how do I keep my dog entertained in his crate? How do I keep my dog entertained while at work? This is a pain point, you guys. So if we can bring a product to market that is going to meet this pain point for puppies chewing, as well as keeping the dog entertained in the crate, and we can see these recommended products for this search query on Google. We can see this Pet Zone IQ treat ball. We can see this Licky Mat, a power chewer box. But when I start discovering some of these products, I learned that none of them actually meet these solutions of keeping the dog entertained. Because remember now, I've gone and I've read the blogs, I've read the people's pain problems, I've kind of gone down this little rabbit hole and I've learned about the customer. And so now I start to go and I look at this Pet IQ ball. And really the problem is that, you need to keep your dog entertained in the crate, but this toy is not going to keep them entertained in the crate. It's really actually hard to use. The treats don't come out of the holes. And it's not actually meant for the dog to play in the crate. So it doesn't actually solve this problem that we've discovered, right? People are looking for solutions to keep their dogs entertained in the crate and to help them with that separation anxiety. So we've studied this and we're like, wow, these toys that are meant for the crate really are not that great. So is our solution maybe a bigger, more rubbery toy or treat dispenser? I don't know. I'm just putting the idea out there. So then I read about what they don't love. They can't unscrew it. They can't put in treats, snacks, whatever. This is where you look at the bad reviews, right? And so I want to take a moment and address the bad reviews. So many of you look through bad reviews. You've been trained to just look at a product, right? If I was just looking at this product alone and I was like, I'm going to make a better version of this product, And I wasn't thinking about the bigger problem, why people buy toys, which is separation anxiety, which is because they have to keep their dog entertained in the crate. If I wasn't thinking about that and I was just trying to copy this toy and make it better, the problem is just because people have complained in these bad reviews, it doesn't mean they're going to buy your better solution. Because people automatically think, okay, you know what? I tried one of those treat dispensing toys. It didn't work. It was terrible for my dog, right? So just because we bring a better, we address the problem in the bad reviews and we bring a new product to market, it doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to buy our solution. So if we see bad reviews for a garlic press that says, oh man, this handle is too short, and all these people are like, man, this handle is too short, and we bring a longer handle garlic press to the market, does that necessarily mean that people will buy it? No. Number one, we're still stuck in search results for garlic press, and nobody's searching for garlic press with longer handle. So it's not like we can get on page 1 for that longer tail keyword. No, we need to get on page 1 for toys for aggressive chewers. We need to get on page 1 for crate, how to keep your dog entertained in the crate. That's what we need. That's what people are searching for. That's what we need to get on page 1 for, right? So the thing is, we really want to make sure when we're considering the bad reviews that we're not just trying to fix the problems that people come up with, but that what we're fixing actually ties back to what people are complaining about, the problems that they're experiencing, the solutions that they're looking for online. And this is why instead of using product research software, I search across the internet. I utilize internet tools. And so now I study these treat dispensing balls because I'm just trying to learn more about these toys. And the thing is, they don't actually solve our problem because they don't solve the problem of boredom. They don't solve the problem of anxiety. They don't solve our problem for creating, timing, and leaving your scent behind. They just don't. So once again, the customer still has this problem, and none of these products on the market are solving that problem. So we've got to focus on the problem. So we've discovered that the problem is that we need to keep our dog entertained while he's in his crate or while we're at work. So that's what we need to focus on. We need to focus on that problem, not necessarily the solution being a toy. So we've discovered some of the products on the market, and we know what the problem is, and we know that the existing products on the market don't really solve this problem. So I have over here, niches are defined by people who use those products or services. So for example, office supplies for college football fans, birthday party decorations for girls who love unicorns, cat owners who have to clean the litter box, dog owners who keep their dogs in crate while away or at work. So this now becomes my niche and my focus and my customer, right? This is the customer that I want to uniquely target. The customer that has to keep their dog entertained while they're at work or in their crate. I'm going to get after this customer, and I'm going to bring products to market that are going to meet this customer's needs. So how do I do that? I am going to start by putting this problem in the middle of a piece of paper. Now you can use a mind mapping software if you like, something like draw.io, but I like to write. Either use a whiteboard or a piece of paper because I like to really think through the problem, right? So I've put my 2 problems here in the center. I've got staying entertained in the crate, and I've got keeping the dog entertained while at work, right? So if I start up here with the keeping the dog entertained while at work, I have all of my potential solutions in these bigger circles. So first of all, I say, okay, well, I could have a doggy door, right? I could have a doggy door for so that the dog could go outside. But then I'm worried, I got these little squares here. I'm worried about safety, and I'm worried about, the dog maybe escaping or, having trouble getting in or out, right? And then I've also got to train the dog to use that. So that's kind of my worries, right? And so the other thing is, you could have, besides a doggy door, you could have a bed for them. You could have toys for them. You could have a timer for that doggy door. But either way, you know, that's one potential solution. Now I come up here and the next thing is, okay, a doggy daycare. So that's right. I don't want you to limit your solutions to products. I want you to think of every potential solution to keeping the dog entertained while you're at work. Remember, we're trying to understand this customer. So doggy daycare is a potential solution, right? It's expensive though, and you got to pick your dog up and drop them off. So then you also could do a pet sitter or a dog walker. But again, you know, that's not really, it's not a product that I can launch. So then my next solution is leaving them in the crate with some toys. Okay, so the only problem is they're bored. I feel bad about it. They're stuck in there for too long and they're probably barking and chewing. So if I leave them in the crate with the toys, maybe I could do a video chat. Maybe I could play music for them. Maybe I could leave my scent behind. Maybe there's some unique toys that I could have for this. So you can see I put a star here. And the reason that I put a star here is of all of these solutions, this is a solution that I can explore more for my potential customer. So now I'm going to keep the dog entertained at work, I'm going to keep them in the crate. So now how do I keep them entertained in the crate? So now I'm over here and I'm discovering the potential solutions for keeping them entertained in the crate. So remember, we're not focused on products. We're just focused on solutions. So a better crate, maybe there's a better crate. You know, maybe we could create a crate that is a cool experience for the dog. But I've got this little side circle here. It says there's too many crates on the market. You know, it's a lot. You know, there's a lot of potential solutions here, but I'm not sure that I want to get into that. That's my objection to that. And then I've got training. Okay, I could train them to be entertained in the crate. That's actually what the articles recommended. That's cool. And then I could make toys made for crating, right? That's a potential idea, but there are too many of these. We discovered how many of these there are. Customers would get confused, right? So then I could say, okay, well, maybe there's less time in the crate. That's a potential solution. Maybe there's an in-the-house solution where there's no crate needed. You know, some people keep their dogs in their laundry room, stuff like that. And then, you know, I could also let them outside, right? So these are all of my potential solutions. So the solution that I choose, again, is the one that I can most focus on and where I see the most potential opportunity, right? So there's too many other crates in the market, so I'm not going to go down that road. And there's too many other toys made for crating. So I'm going to focus on training. That is where I am going to break down that problem. So I'm going to put crate training in the center of my circle again, and I'm going to break down those potential solutions, right? So the problem is I'm at work. How do I crate train them while I'm at work? That's going to be hard, right? How can I, you know, potentially interact with them while I'm at work? How can I have them on a schedule? The blog posts recommend that you have them on a crate training schedule. You know, could I make a printable schedule? Is there a timer that I could use? Is there a training app? I could hire a trainer. And then I could have a training toy with my voice. So the thing that I pick is a training toy with my voice, because there are few toys on the market. When I studied some of these potential solutions earlier, there were actually few toys on the market that actually offered training plus the owner's interaction into them, right? So this is the rabbit hole I'm going to go down. Based on all of my potential problems and solutions, I'm going to try to develop a training toy with my voice. All right. So now I searched for a training toy for the crate, and I learned about this solution right here, the Snuggle Puppy behavioral aid toy. This thing is ranked I think 100 in pets. Like, it's selling like crazy. And so I wanted to study this and learn, why is this such a good crate training aid? Why is this product so awesome for crate training? And I learned that this product is warm. So puppies really like to snuggle on it because it's like a warm body. It also has a heartbeat integrated into it. And I did some more studies on the heartbeat and why dogs like the heartbeat. And it's because it, they like that sound, and it reminds them of, again, being close to their owner. So it takes them away from that separation anxiety, right? So they can keep this in the crate because it reduces, whining, barking. It helps you sleep at night because it calms the dog. It's warm. It has the heartbeat. This other product that I found was the Babble Ball. It had a voice in it, but it was incredibly annoying. It's not the owner's voice, and people really did not like it. So this was not a good solution because it doesn't solve the problem of separation anxiety. So there is a solution on the market. There's heartbeat pillows, and there are these Snuggle Puppy behavioral aid toys. And these are selling like crazy, and they're solving the problem. So there is one potential solution. But what else could I offer that would allow people to utilize this in the crate, right? And so I looked at some of the bad reviews of this product, and the problem was that dogs, either the heartbeat did not continue to work, like it would die, and then the heating packs, it only is included with some heating packs that you have to manually heat up. And so it doesn't provide like a constant heat source. And then the heartbeat that's inside of it is not always working. So people would get it and the heartbeat wouldn't be working. And then the last problem was the dog just chewed it up, right? So the dog would chew the heartbeat out of it, and this toy would kind of fall apart. So it's not a perfect solution. And there's an opportunity to take this idea of the owner's voice or this heartbeat and this heat and utilize it specifically for the crate. So we've discovered an opportunity in the marketplace with this product and how we can differentiate in a way that matters to the customer. This toy tried to differentiate with the owner's voice, but it's not the owner's voice, and it's not doing well. So it's not solving the problem. So now I can look at these calming training toys, and I can put those in the center of my paper, right? And I can think about, all right, what kind of things do I need to do with the calming training toys in the crate, right? So I know I want a heartbeat. I know I potentially want a heating element. I want maybe soft and hard options, because, maybe chewing or something for them to lay on. It maybe should include or fit treats inside. Maybe it should include my voice. Maybe it should have a puzzle element, right? I'm just thinking through all of this. So based on this thought process, I come up with these two product ideas. So the first idea is a crate blanket or mat with heat and a heartbeat integrated into it. So people buy these mats for their crates. So they're already buying these, but none of them actually have the heat integrated with the heartbeat. And so this would be great because the dog isn't going to chew it apart. And when they're in their crate, they're going to be calmed by simply laying on the mat at the bottom of the crate with the integrated heartbeat and the heat that doesn't go away if you don't want it to go away, right? So that would be a cool idea. And the other idea that I came up with based on all of this was a toy with a recorder inside, a treat dispenser, and a puzzle. So right now, the only thing with the owner's voice is the treat dispenser with the camera where you can talk with your dog, right? But there's nothing that really goes inside the crate where you could, maybe say something like, "Oh, good boy," and give them a treat at time options inside of the crate, right? So I'm looking at these two ideas based on the stuff that's currently on the market. Neither of these ideas actually exist, and both of them solve problems in the market, right? So I'm focused on products that are helping owners effectively crate train their dogs and keep them calm and entertained while they're away, right? So these are my ideas. So now we've gone over this process, right? We've studied the idea. We've identified the customer needs and wants. We've studied the market offerings. We looked at whether the offerings met the needs and wants. So we saw that those toys aren't actually solving the problem of separation anxiety. And we saw that the customer's situation is they need to keep their dog entertained while they're in the crate. And we broke down all of those potential solutions, not just products. Don't just jump to products. And I know the people in my mastermind group, this is the hardest thing for them because they've all been trained to immediately jump to product solutions, right? But if you keep your mind open, you're going to discover potential solutions that you might not have thought of if you just keep thinking through the problem and the potential solutions and you actually study what the customer's problems are, right? So you're going to pick the best solution suited to your brand's focus and the opportunity you discovered. And you're going to break down that solution to identify all potential products and differentiation. So that is the process we just went through. So now we're going to go through the process of market research and competitive analysis. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. I'm going to come back over here. I know we've been going here for quite a while. So how is everyone doing? I'm just going to address any questions.
Well, once again,
I think we're all good.
Yeah, you've really obviously captured everyone to the point where I love your style actually, because you're so logical and clear, and you're taking us on this journey, and you're like the Pied Piper and we're just following you.
Okay. Well, Neil Patel app is free. So we had one question from Sol. Neil Patel app is free for a certain number of searches every day. And then after that, they do have a paid plan. So all the tools that I'm going to be showing you, now we're going to actually get into tools in this next part of the process. So this is the last part of our presentation. We're going to get into the tools that you can use and how to actually study these product ideas. So we have 2 product ideas on our list, right? We've got the Heartbeat pet mat, and we have the toy with the owner's voice that could actually go in the crate. So we're going to get into now, how do I study the market and how do I look at the competition to make sure that this is a good idea? Okay, so I'm going to get right into that. And I will go back to sharing my screen. And this is I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me for all of this. So let's get into here. And we are going to go big here. All right. So now this last part of our presentation, the goal is now to take these product ideas that are on your list and to further explore them and determine whether to move forward with each product on the list, right? So in my mastermind group, of course, we have several steps after this to really be able to bring confidence and validate the product ideas. But what this is going to do is this is going to give you an initial evaluation of your product ideas. Okay, so we're going to study the market for this particular idea, right? Then we're going to study our competitors. We're going to make sure it passes the Shark Tank or the Dragon's Den test. And we're going to then decide whether to keep it on our list. So we want to know, is this dog toy or blanket idea worth pursuing, right? We want to know if we should keep it on our list or get rid of it. So we're going to look at our interactive toy for dogs and this blanket or mat for the crate with these special features, because we want to know if our idea is actually going to stand up against the competition, right? We want to show up on page 1 for our long tail keyword, and we want people to go, yes, they understand me. I want to buy that. That's what we want. So lucky for us, there are proven methods for this. We don't have to, this is not secret stuff that I'm teaching you guys. This is very simple. People have been trading goods and services since the caveman days. So we can simply use market research to learn what people want. We've done some of that in our previous presentation here. And we can use competitive analysis to learn why they will buy it from us and not our competitors. That's what we want to know, right? We want to know why they're going to buy it from us. I have so many people that will book calls with me, coaching calls, and they'll say, Amy, on today's call, I just want to go over my product idea. And, I differentiate it in this way. And when I ask them, I say, okay, well, why will people buy it from you and not your competitors? Often people cannot answer that question. You must be able to answer that question. That will help you go to market with confidence. If you can answer the question, why they're going to buy it from you and not your competitors. So let's get into it. So a review of this product. of this process. And you can ignore this Google Docs thing because you guys have the workbook, okay? So we're going to identify the problem or the need. We're going to search as if we are the customer. This is so important. We want to search not at solutions. We want to search as if we are the customer aiming to solve that problem or buying a product to solve that problem. Because that's the same customer that we're going to target with our product, right? There's no perfect formula to follow, okay? So this is the other thing is so many people, you know, they want a step-by-step formula. And so I want you guys, I'm giving you permission to just explore, right? Just explore and really get in deep. There's many different tools you can use. I'm going to show you many tools here. All of them, most of them are free, but I'm going to show you many different tools that you can use. But you have the internet at your disposal. Use whatever tools you have to determine why a customer is going to buy your product and not your competition's, okay? And then you're going to answer the questions in your worksheet. That's what you're going to do. You're going to use whatever tools you would like to use. The most important part is that you answer those questions that are in that workbook that's included, right? So market research is our first step. We want to be able to answer these questions, and these questions are in your workbook. Is it a growing or steady trend? There might be sudden growth, but is it just a peak that's going to die out? We want to make sure that if it's peaking, like right now, face masks are obviously peaking, but is that going to stay, right? We want to know, secondly, are people asking questions about it? Are people saying, how do I keep my dog entertained while he's in the crate? We want to know that, right? We want to know what kind of questions are people asking about it. With my poker set idea, I wanted to know if people wanted to know how to count poker chips for a poker party. And I found so many blogs. That is a pain point for people. And I was able to discover more about that pain point. And I learned nobody was actually selling poker chips in a way that solved a problem for the customer. There I go. I get to go to market with a differentiated product that actually meets customers' needs, simply because I found out what kind of questions people were asking about throwing home poker parties and about counting chips, okay? So we want to know, are people asking questions about it? What kind of differentiations are people searching for, right? We want to look at, you know, are they searching for this versus that, dog toys versus crates? Are they searching for crates versus doggy doors, right? We want to know what kind of things are they considering. We want to look at the ands, the widths, right? So if I go on Amazon and I put in water bottle width, what kind of things are people searching for with their water bottles? Water bottle and, right? So whatever product I'm considering, you know, I want to know what are people searching for, and I can use the search bar for that. What are people blogging about in this trend? So in our previous exercise, we looked at those articles. We kind of did some discovery. We want to know what's popular. What are people blogging about? And really discover, you know, what kind of opportunities there could be based on the things that are written in this blog and things that people are DIYing, right? And then finally, what is the industry saying about this trend? There are tons of industry publications that are out there, right? Some of you have probably seen a similar presentation that I've given in many other conferences and stuff talking about market research, and I give these same questions. But we are going to break this down for this dog toy situation today. So it'll be a little different. All right, so tools. There are tons of tools. I love all these tools, but these are just some tools that you can use. You can use whatever tools you kind of learn about, but these are mostly free tools, right? So Google Trends, that's free, trends.google.com. There's this tool called Trendly that I really like because it also shows, it's with 2 E's. It's free for a certain number of searches, and it shows, it basically curates data from Reddit and Pinterest and blogs to determine if that trend is really a trend. There's another tool called Cart that's also by the makers of Trendly, and it shows you what Shopify stores are trending, which is like really great to learn about, right? And then there's this new thing called Think with Google. It's basically a play off Google Trends, and it just gives you some additional information. But Answer the Public is another great tool. Don't worry, I have slides showing you examples of all of these. Keyword tools, there's tons of keyword tools. Remember, the search bar is my favorite keyword tool, but I don't just use Amazon keyword tools. I do use Amazon keyword tools because I'm a copywriter, right? So I want to know what are people searching for on Amazon, and also Amazon is a really strong sales channel for me. So I definitely use Amazon keyword tools, but I also want to rank on Google. I also want to rank on the major social media search engines such as Pinterest. So I use keyword tools across the internet every time I write a listing because I want my listing to show up everywhere, not just on Amazon. So I want you to use keyword tools. I want you to use the search bar on any of your tools because those suggestions are gold. I want you to use industry publications because they're going to give us really great insights. All right, let's start with Google Trends. So I look at interactive dog toys, right? And my question is it a growing or steady trend? That's what I want to know. So I look over the last 12 months and we can see some peaks and it's still growing, right? And then I look at the last 5 years and it's really growing. And what we don't just want to look at the last 12 months, we always want to look over time because we might be growing a lot right now, but maybe it also really peaked high at, like November 2016, it peaked like extremely high. I wonder what happened then, right? Was there a major innovation in interactive dog toys? Who knows? But I can see that my trend is growing over time, which is a good sign. All right. Remember, it's just one piece of the puzzle. None of these are definitive. They're just information to help us make confident decisions in moving forward. So then I look at Google Trends related topics to interactive dog toys, and I can see that balls are related topics. Do it yourself is a related topic. Wow, I'm going to go discover those things, right? Chewy, which is an online pet store. So that's a related topic. People are looking for those interactive dog toys on Chewy. A cup, that's interesting, and a rope. So related search queries, best interactive dog toys, up 80%. What does that tell us? That tells us that the market is getting saturated with these interactive dog toys and people are looking for the best. They're looking for recommendations, right? So there, I was watching a copywriting presentation in Traffic and Conversions, in the Traffic and Conversion Summit. And he was talking about how the keywords best and I think it was best brands for and best, and there's so many of these kind of best type trusting keywords that people have been searching for, and they are extremely on the rise now. So people are looking for trusted brands because the market is getting so saturated. So that's something to keep in mind, right? We want to be the best, right? We want to be able to be featured on those blogs. And how do we do that? With our success formula of making sure we're targeting, remember, those French bulldog owners and not just dogs in general, right? Okay, so Answer the Public, another tool. This tool is great because I can find out what questions are people asking about this across the internet. So I put interactive dog toys in answerthepublic.com, and Answer the Public is free for a certain number of searches, and then you have to pay. But for your purposes, you're probably going to be able to use it for free with no problems. So people are asking, what are interactive dog toys? How to make them? Wow, what does that tell us? The ones on the market are not meeting their needs, right? What are they? What are the best ones? Those are the questions they're asking. Answer the Public also shows us these differentiations. So for interactive dog toys for toddlers, okay, they're looking for, that might be an interesting niche. We could study that more. Are people looking for their toddlers to be able to play with their dogs, right? For puppies, for large breeds, for heavy chewers, we see a lot of similar things to what we looked for before, but we're just verifying that, right? Now, remember, before we were just looking for dog toys. Now we're looking for interactive dog toys, right? So we're just really studying this more. And so we get a lot of great information. And then we go on Reddit and we put in interactive dog toys into the search and we see what people are talking about. And we kind of see, I think I found a perfectly annoying interactive dog toy for people you don't love on your Christmas list. DIY Kong interactive dog toy for puppy. Anyone come up with anything creative? That's cool. In dog training. cool, I can go read all these comments and kind of figure out, right? This interactive dog toy saves the day according to pet owners. Okay, cool. You know, let's go check that out. What is it? What are people blogging and creating content about? I go on Pinterest and look at the top search term on Pinterest, you guys. Interactive dog toys DIY. Wow, what does that tell us? People are looking for these things, right? Puzzles. People are looking for better solutions than what's on the market. So I'm going to go and discover each of those things on Pinterest. Then I go into the SEO, search engine optimization, and I learn, are people searching for my offering? So there's a lot of ways to research search volume and queries, but you can start with those search suggestions in the search bar. You can use Answer the Public. You can use Uber Suggest. I use another tool called Brand Overflow. It really doesn't matter. You can use Ahrefs. You could use Google Keyword Planner. You're just trying to get information. It's not about the tool you use. It's about the information that you get, right? And the information and how you use that information. So, you know, Google Trends, Keywords Everywhere is another plugin that I absolutely love. But we really want to make sure that people are searching for interactive dog toys. And I think we learned that they are, right? And they're specifically searching for DIY, which is interesting. All right, now I went on Uber Suggest and I learned that there's 9,900 searches across the internet for interactive dog toys, but look at the paid difficulty. When it's 100 like this, it means that for this keyword, interactive dog toys, it is really, really hard to rank your website for that keyword. So there's a lot of competition, okay? So that's okay, because remember, we're going for that long tail keyword. So we're just kind of learning about this. And then search volume. Let's talk about search volume. So many people, they're like, Amy, how much search volume is enough? I get this question over and over and over and over again. I've helped a lot of people who have launched products that their main keyword, and when I say main keyword, I mean the seed keyword, interactive dog toys, right? Not your long tail keyword, but your seed keyword has like 10 in search volume across the internet, right? That could be a problem. And those people I've still been able to help because I've usually been able to find another keyword. Often people are just calling their product the wrong thing. So for example, I have, you know, maybe your product could be sold under friendship gifts instead of, jewelry hanger, maybe there's not enough search for jewelry hanger, but it could be a really great friendship gift. I don't know, right? But the bottom line is make sure you kind of discover all of your keyword opportunities and you don't just focus on one keyword, right? Because you might be able to present, the most important thing is that you get your product in front of the people that are searching for it. So a high search volume greater than 1,000 means there's plenty of interest. But you also want to look at the competition for that, right? And this is where you can use your product research tools, right? You can use your product research tools to look at the competition for that particular product. But what we're trying to focus on is that our differentiation matters to the customer. Okay, that's the most important thing. And I realize that this is completely reteaching you everything that you've learned in every Amazon course you've ever taken. But I can promise you that if you bring a product to market, utilizing market research, and you're able to verify that customers you're solving a problem that customers are actually searching for, you are going to succeed. People who have been through my programs are absolutely blown away when they put a product on the market and it just sells without ranking strategies, without giveaways, without a ton of advertising. It just sells. And they come back to me on a coaching call and they're like, Amy, I can't believe it. I'm sold out already. I'm on my second order. And I can't believe that this actually worked, because it's not following everything that they've learned before, right? But if you're first to market with something that people actually care about and you're solving their problems, they are going to love you. And you don't always have to invent something, right? We're actually talking about a fairly simple product here, right? So, all right, let's get into what related keywords are they searching for. So interactive dog toys, best Amazon, electronic. People are looking for electronic, DIY, and puzzle toys. Okay, cool. What are they blogging and creating content about? Best interactive dog toys for Labradors. That's interesting. Okay, I might study that a little bit more, right? But again, I'm really focused on keeping the dog entertained while in the crate. So I'm going to keep that previous research that I've done in my mind as I go through this. All right, marketplace trends. What is the industry saying? There is tons of data, you guys. There's tons of data out there, okay? All you have to do is put in whatever your product type is in industry trends, and you're going to get so much great information. That's all you have to do. There's already trade magazines and tons of data that's already been collected over the years to give you what people are searching for and where they're searching for it. For example, I know that for litter boxes, most people spend more money on litter box accessories than they actually spend on litter. How crazy is that? I mean, and then I learned that they're buying those online rather than in stores. So that really helped me out. I learned all of this when I was putting my business plan together. Okay. So I wanted to know what kind of things were people searching for and what kind of things were they buying? Well, how do I find that out? I look at industry trends. It's a really great way to do it. So look at your industry trends. You can simply Google it. And then you can see on Amazon, I'm putting in interactive dog and I'm learning about all the different things that people are searching for in terms of products. And then I want to encourage you, as I mentioned, I was writing my business plan. I want to encourage you to use a framework, okay? Because when you're doing market research, it can kind of take you down a lot of rabbit holes. And so score.org, if you just put in SCORE business planning template, they have a free template that gives you a framework to follow. So if you're kind of getting into this and you're really you're like, yes, I am going to launch a brand that is, specifically for bulldogs. And well, you're going to want to write a business plan for that, right? You're going to want to kind of have a framework to follow. So in this case, I'm launching a brand that is designed to help owners keep their dogs entertained while they're away at work or while they're in the crate. That's my brand. That's what I'm focused on. So instead of me going down all these rabbit holes, I'm going to use a framework. And this business plan template from SCORE is really, really great because it gives you that framework and it gives you really great information. It's okay if I don't fill every little piece of things in, right? But it gives me something to follow and it shows me what I don't know, right? It might bring up things like distribution channels. And I go, oh crap, I didn't even think about distribution channels. I could partner with a distributor that does pet toys. Wow, I could get in a lot of stores that way. Okay, cool. That's the benefit of filling out a business plan, right? You don't have to do it perfectly. Don't let it be a roadblock for you. Simply use it as a framework, draft it up, let it tell you what you know and what you don't know, and let it help you focus your efforts, right? So that's a good resource for you. All right, so now let's get into competitive analysis, right? Because we want to win the battle. We want to make sure that the market supports our idea, and then we want to make sure that my solution provides a recorded voice with a treat reward, a heartbeat sound, or a mat with a heating element. Is it different enough? Is it going to really make a difference to the customer? So let's get into that. So what I want to answer in my competitive analysis, and all these questions are in your workbook, okay? Number one, what's going on with the market? I want to look at what products and brands I'm going to be competing with. Number two, I want to look at reasonable alternatives already in the marketplace, right? So the reasonable alternatives is interactive toys, dog beds, and blankets. Those are the reasonable alternatives. And so many people skip this. So many people go, well, Amy, I'm launching a green water bottle because there's no green water bottles on the market. And they've done no market research about what people actually want in a water bottle, right? And whether they care if it's green, right? And they don't focus that every single water bottle is their competition. So that's the thing, like with my litter box cleaner Sifties, right? I had to focus on even though I'm the only one on the market with this kind of solution, it doesn't matter because every litter box is my competition. Every scoop is my competition. Every litter box liner is my competition. I want to make sure that I am meeting a need that those things don't meet, or that there's a place for me in the marketplace, okay? So you always want to look at reasonable alternatives. And then number 3, search as if you're a customer looking for a solution to the problem or the need, such as preventing boredom in the dog crate, interacting with my dog while on my way at work. And number 4, what is available? What are people buying? And this is most important, you guys. Underline this. Why are they buying it? It's not about why are people buying, it's not about people buying water bottles. Why are they buying this particular water bottle? What about it is special, right? So we want to know why they're buying dog toys. That's why we search that first, right? We want to know what their problems are, because that way we can know why they'll buy our product, okay? So where can we look, okay, to answer these questions? We can look at DIY markets like Etsy, WikiHow, Life Hacks, okay? We can look at online shopping options such as Amazon, Google, Shopify. We can look at Pinterest. We can look at blogs and forums on websites, right? We really want to search for preventing boredom in the dog crate, interacting with my dog while I'm away, keeping the dog entertained while I'm at work, okay? We're searching for this and we're looking for solutions just like the customer would, right? So we're making sure that we have a competitive advantage. We want to figure out what our advantage is going to be over our competitors. So we're going to find the issues our target customers might be having, and then we're going to determine whether we can actually provide a solution. So our questions that we have to answer is, why will customers buy from us over our competitors? Is it quality? Is it service? Is it the selection? You know, for example, are you the lawn service company with a 24-hour response time? Are you the cat lovers brand with a unique selection of kitchen accessories no one else has? Does your product solve the problem better than your competitors? Right? So it doesn't always have to solve problems. Sometimes it can just meet needs. Sometimes I can just have the cool kitchen products that are cat shaped for cat lovers that nobody else has. That meets a need, right? People maybe want that thing, right? All right, so I'm searching just like I'm the customer. How do I keep my dog entertained while I'm at work? So we can see all these potential solutions, and I can say my solution provides a recorded voice with a treat reward, heartbeat sound, or mat with a heating element. Is it different than all of these, right? Yes, it is. It is different. I'm looking at all of these. I'm looking at the wobble wig. I'm gonna go discover all of these, and I'm going to see if my solution still holds up against this competition. Okay, so I'm going to study each of these products, and I'm going to look and make sure that my product is actually different. So the pros, I searched all these different products, and the pros is that there's no toy with a voice recorder, and the current interactive voice stuff is expensive, and it's not working well, or it's not a toy, right? The cons that I found, the bad things. What if the dog eats the voice recorder? That would be bad. Will it be hard to incorporate? It might need to last longer than most toys, and dog safety. So this is making me think, oh man, is this dog toy going to be really hard to develop and bring to market? That's a con for me. I want something I can develop in a short period of time and I can bring to market. So I look at all of these blogs and articles, you know, and I see all the different solutions that the blogs and articles are suggesting. You know, let your dog watch television, provide ways your dog can look out the window, fill a hollow toy with peanut butter, calm your dog, give your dog a puzzle, give your dog a furry brother or sister. So again, that comes back to our calming, right? So pros, interactive with my voice. It could be combined with other options out of the crate, like it rolls or it talks. Cons, the television could just replace it, right? If people can just turn on the TV, why are they going to buy my toy? And then the other thing is the current toys. There's a lot of current toys on the market. So now I'm getting into my DIY heartbeat pillow for dogs, right? So I'm thinking, okay, this toy is sounding really, really complicated, and I can't really find any good, like all pros here. So I'm going to start discovering my heartbeat idea in the mat, right? So I look at these and I see that my solution provides a recorded voice with a treat reward, heartbeat sound, or a mat with a heating element. Is it different? Pros, a mat seems better than a stuffed animal, as people are complaining they should just have bought a stuffed animal and puppy is chewing it up. So this is a problem. All of these toys that are on the market right now with the heartbeat, people love the heartbeat element, but they're like, this toy is not worth it. The dog is just chewing it up. The cons, the heartbeat might not be necessary, or it could be one of the sound options in the toy with a separate heating mat bundle. Heating element seems to have problems, right? So I'm going on Pinterest and I find this Wicked Bone dog toy. And so I look for interactive dog toys and I find this Wicked Bone dog toy. And this is actually, it's like an RC car. You can drive it around. It's no longer on the market. It's like, it's not there anymore. But people really, the owner loved that they could drive this thing around. That was kind of cool, right? So I looked and I see that Wicked Bone is kind of like the toy that I've been thinking of. But it's not a puzzle toy. There's no treats dispensed and there's no owner voice, but it is cleanable and replaceable. And I've discovered that there is a significant market for dog gadgets, and gadgets that are too fancy don't seem to work as well. So that's what I've kind of learned from discovering this Wicked Bone dog toy. All right. So now let's look at my competitive advantage for my mat with the heartbeat. Okay. So, and heat. So I see that really this is what I'm going for, right? I can have a competitive advantage for this because we just look through all of these toys and everything, and I can't develop a toy easily. The pros and the cons are not strong enough for me to move forward with this toy. I can't really define this toy well. You know, in order for me to source something, I've got to be able to define the requirements to my supplier, right? Well, this mat with a heartbeat is actually pretty easy to define. All I need right now, the two products already exist, right? The heating mat already exists and sells really well on the market, and the heartbeat toy already exists and sells really well. So that's pretty easy for me to define, and I'm solving a problem that these other toys and these mats are not solving. So here we go. Now we have found a product that we can differentiate in a way that matters to the customer, that solves a problem that they are looking for. So why will customers buy my mat with the heat and heartbeat over my competitors? Because heat and comfort is a big pain point for people buying these heating mats and heartbeat toys. We know that. We've read all the articles. The heartbeat toys are easily chewed up, but the mat would solve that problem because the dog's just going to be laying on it. I'm going to go back through the worksheet and answer the questions for the heartbeat heat mat and pursue this idea. Okay? Competitor products are also selling well, and I can protect my differentiation and integrate the heartbeat into the mat, right? So I can protect that differentiation. I can make sure that I can do a design patent. I could potentially do a utility patent on a pet mat that has a heartbeat integrated, okay? So the last step is we really want to focus on, all right, I've got this idea of this heating mat with this heartbeat. Can my idea make it past the sharks? And this is US's version. In the UK, you guys have Dragon's Den. But Robert Kiyosaki said, or not Robert Kiyosaki. It is Robert Herjavec. He said, people always think you have to have a great idea. Great ideas are cheap. Execution is hard. All of you guys that are listening to this presentation right now, you know how to launch a product on Amazon. You know how to source a product. So all you have to do is develop your idea, do this market research, develop your idea, and source your product. So many inventors don't have what you have. They don't know how easy it is to launch a product and source it. You've got all of these things that they don't have. So now all you need to do is find your opportunity in the marketplace and make it happen. But let's make sure that it's going to make it past the sharks or the Dragon's Den. So the 3 reasons for failure in the Shark Tank. Number 1, is it actually unique? This eye block camera, the guy said, hey, you know, I have this solution. People are hacking computer cameras. Do you guys remember this guy? He said, people are hacking computer cameras, and I have this solution. I can cover up the camera with my new eye block device. And the shark came in and he said, I just use a piece of tape. Right? A piece of tape is the reasonable alternative here. Okay, so it's not really unique. It's not a better mousetrap. It's a piece of plastic that covers your computer camera, but it's very easily copied and it's not protectable. So you want to make sure that it's actually unique and the reasonable alternative is not a piece of tape, right? Number two, do you have sales? So, you know, the sharks always shut people down if they don't have any sales, right? Like this guy with this Qubits toy, he was like, well, kids really love these toys, but he had no sales. Why? There's a million reasonable alternatives of these toys on the market. And so his toy wasn't actually solving a problem for kids that was different than all the other toys. So he had too much competition and he couldn't make any sales. So we want to make sure that you aren't going to have too much competition, that you've done the competitive analysis and that you can actually make sales. And remember, that comes down to knowing why people are going to buy from you and knowing that you have a targeted audience. And number three, your business isn't scalable. I cannot tell you guys, 80% of the people that I talk to are not making any money. They've got 30% profit margins. Their advertising is way too costly and they're not making any money. My goal for everybody that I work with is for them to be able to make enough money with just two, even one product to be able to replace their income. So when we teach how to calculate profits in my mastermind group, I make people calculate how much they can actually pay themselves in an hourly wage based on the products that they currently have. And they quickly see that their margins are not enough to make this into a scalable business. So I want you guys to have scalable margins. I want you to make sure that your product can make you money. If it's not profitable, it's not a good product. Walk away from it, okay? So make sure you run your numbers, check the cost of advertising before you launch your product. Check the cost of your main keyword. You know, so many people are like getting into CBD. You know, CBD, the average cost per click is $11. Are you kidding me? Like, how are you going to afford that? Do you have the margins to support that? Right? So we want to make sure that we can afford it and that it's going to make us money. It's going to be a profitable product. And later on, maybe we can even sell it wholesale to retailers, right? That means we have to sell at 50% of the sales price and we don't have the margin for that. Our business isn't scalable. So I really want to make sure that you guys, that it's a profitable product. So when you run your numbers on your products ideas, make sure it's profitable for you. All right. So this is it. We've made it to the last slide. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Your mission is to follow your worksheet, create these ideas, or follow this process to refine your ideas, refine your list of potential products and differentiations for each. Use your workbook to follow the process. And if you're wanting to learn all of the things in depth, all of the secrets to all this stuff, if you're wanting to learn a different way to go about your private label business, join us in our mastermind group. It's only $49 a month and you get all of this criteria, the listing optimization masterclass, this whole month of criteria and next month's criteria. So it's just, or next month's curriculum, excuse me. So on sourcing and all of that. So I have a code for you guys, a special offer for you guys. If you use code WELCOME, coupon code WELCOME at amazingathome.com/mastermind, you can join us for only $24 for your first month. Okay, you can upgrade, downgrade, or cancel anytime. I am on a mission to help as many people as I can bring great products to market that just sell. All right, so enough with the salesy stuff. Let's get back here and answer any questions you guys have. I am going to stop sharing. Wow, that was a lot.
It was a lot. You must probably need a drink. So do have a moment to have a sip of something. And actually, I think everybody here got so much information out of this. And it's amazing to see quite as many people still on the webinar, actually. So thank you very much for running us through this very logical and yet very kind of detective orientated search process. I have to admit that although I follow your approach to product development, I'm not as I'm more intuitive, which means chaotic and disorganized. and I don't go through anywhere as much research. And, sometimes that has bitten me. And I haven't succeeded with certain products. And yet in other occasions, it's been fine. But who knows? I might have been lucky rather than clever. So there you go. So it's really, really good to see how much of a process that you go through.
It's been incredible just seeing people actually be able to, because it is kind of an in-depth process, and it's not, but it's great to see people be able to follow it. And, the folks in my mastermind group and the people who've been through my courses and stuff previously that have products on the market and they're doing great. And then the people that are in my mastermind group right now, I mean, we've had coaching calls and they're showing me their products and they are just incredible. Like, I can't wait. They're going to have raving fans. They're going to have amazing products. And so it's so cool to see that it actually really works so well. And the future belongs to the innovators, right? We've all kind of had enough of the competition and competing against factories and all of that, and there is a better way. And I believe every person, there's enough space in the market for all of us. And I believe every person can really get after it. So I'm looking forward to seeing some great products on the market.
And one of the things I'll just mention for the audience that we've talked about is, as soon as we can have in-person meetups, you're very keen to come over to the UK. We'd love to have you. I mean, we would teleport you today, probably. But
yes, how many of you would love an in-depth workshop? I would be happy to sit with you guys for an in-depth, awesome workshop where we can go over this stuff together and just really get into it. Yes, I am on board for that. Cool. I would love that.
It also means you all have homework, so you have to make sure you actually work through the workbook and do some work. So when Amy comes over, hopefully later this year, maybe next year, we'll see. We can then show her what we've done and say, well, we've actually taken action and done this and tried this out. And then this is the next step.
Yeah, cool. But as you can see, you're getting loads and loads of compliments here, and people thanking you. And one thing, that we've been kind of saying all the way through. So it's okay for us to send out your slides. I know that because you've given them to us. And so we always do. We send out a recording, we'll send out the slides, and we'll also send out the workbook for everyone so that you can actually put all of this into action, which is the most important thing about what we do here. And we have amazing speakers, and I would class you in that too, Amy. So thank you very much. But one of the things we all struggle with is the putting it into action piece. So it'll be really, really great to see whether we can do that. And the other thing that I would recommend, this was going through my head as I was listening to you, is why don't you create groups of you together and just brainstorm this as a small group of about 3 or 4 people, and try and work on it together in ways, obviously pick your friends wisely, and go for people in different categories. But you could actually do this as a non-competitive exercise.
Yeah.
3, 4 people together, and that would only enhance what you would get out of it, even if you did it online, actually.
Yeah.
And created a small accountability group. I think that would be awesome too. Or they can join your mastermind, obviously, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really fun. This is the stuff I love. I'm nerding out over this stuff. I've been sharing with my mastermind group the different ideas that I have, because I have prototyping weekends where I build different things, and I'll put it in the group and kind of share with them. Like, I built this weekend, you guys. We'll see if the cats like it. We'll see if it works. But yeah, it's been really, really fun. And I just thank you guys for reaching out, and thanks everybody in the chat here. I'm seeing that, all of the thank yous, and that you guys really enjoyed the webinar. And Yes, I appreciate that you're still here because it was like 2 hours of me just spewing at you. So I just appreciate that. And I'm so glad that I could provide some value to you guys. And please reach out. Let me know how it went with your, with it. If you have any follow-up questions, I'm happy to answer those. And just, it's really great. Like I said, I'm on a mission. I just want to help as many people as possible come up with really great, inspiring ideas, because it can get tiring. You're just like, oh man, I've been doing product research for a year and I can't come up with any ideas. So, when you get that first eureka idea, you're just like, yes, I'm so excited about it. So that'll be awesome.
I do have one question that I don't know why no one else has answered, but at the very, very beginning, just to show that I've been actively listening, you talked about how you managed to create a product that is manufactured in America. And it looks like it might even have been a plastic product because you talked about molding. I am shocked that you have found anyone in America that can deliver a plastic product.
So
how on earth did you find them? Because I am a little bit of a Trump follower in one tiny way, and that is I'd love to really give it to American manufacturers. I would be delighted to produce in America and support American workers.
Okay.
So where are they? They're freaking not there.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So the thing is, you guys, something important to know is that if you have to have something injection molded, 99.9% of molds are actually made in China. Mine was actually made in China as well. But you can then ship that mold. You own the tool. So you can then ship that mold to any manufacturer you want that has the space for your tool, right? So my product is actually quite large. And the reason it's manufactured in the US and not in China is simply because the rest of my products are in China. So that's fine, and I'm not opposed to India or any, I always tell people source from where it's most economically manageable for you, for your company. Because remember, I want you to be profitable. But the bottom line is for my product, it was so large, it didn't make economical sense for it to be manufactured in China. So I actually had to cold call all of these manufacturers and say, like, with US-based manufacturers, you really have to have your shit together. You basically have to sell yourself to them, right? You have to say, like, look, I have this product and these are my sales, my sales volumes. This is how large my tool is. This is, so I had to call several different manufacturers to get a spot on one of their floors, right? And I kind of had to sell myself and my company and say, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a US-based manufacturer. And you wouldn't believe it, but most larger products are actually manufactured in the US. So larger, like steel products, wood products. If you're considering a wood product, I always tell people, I've got people in my mastermind group right now that are considering wood products. And I'm like, get them done in the US. There's tons of, the reason that you can't compete with US-based wood products, and you might not even realize a lot of the wood products on Amazon are actually made in the US. And the reason that you can't compete with their margins and you're not making money and they're making a ton of money is because it's cheap to make wood products in the US. There's tons of cabinet manufacturers and, there's plenty of wood in the US. So in that case, when you have a product like that, the same thing applies. If you have a very large plastic product or you have a steel product, you can get all of that made in the US. So you can just search for manufacturers. There's lots of manufacturing hubs like Thomasnet, but be prepared. Don't go to a manufacturer and be like, well, I have this idea. It's not like China where you're like, can you make this? You really need to have your business plan together. You need to know what you're talking about. You need to be ready to go. And you can definitely get a US-based manufacturer. In fact, our next class that we're doing on Monday in our mastermind group is all about types of manufacturing. And I've got all these videos from all these factory tours I've done, including my factory in the US, so that people can kind of see the difference when they go through that. But yeah, you can definitely do it. It just depends on the type of product, because a small plastic product, there's no reason to manufacture it in the US, right? Although my factory in Dallas, they also manufacture PVC pipes and smaller plastic products and medical products.
Okay, cool.
No, I mean, when you're doing your prototyping, and that's something else that we cover in depth in our mastermind group, because I want you to be able to develop these unique products, right? But when you're doing your prototyping, you can utilize, it's actually best to work with somebody who's local to you. So if you're in the UK, you want to get a designer that's local to you. If you're in the US, you want to do the same thing. So there's plenty of specialists. You can find maker spaces that are, so once you get your 3D CAD and all that kind of stuff done, you can go to a maker space and do that. But then also there's a lot of factories in China that have R&D departments that can actually do the designing for you. The bottom line is, when you're developing something, you want to be able to sit down with the designer and put your idea into practice. Yeah, so in that case, you're going to work with a mold maker, because if you're going to bring, most likely your mold's going to be made overseas. Like, your mold is not going to be made in that US based factory. So you can work with that factory that's eventually going to be using your tool. But you don't necessarily want to, like, you want to make sure that everything is pretty much done, with that. In the US, you work with the factory to say, hey, this is what we're doing and the considerations for it. I actually used a factory in the US that worked with a mold maker in China. So they did all the liaisoning and everything, because they had a trusted mold maker. And most of the US based manufacturers will have that. The difference is, for me, it's about $20,000. So I paid $42,000 to have my mold made by this factory, working by a US based factory, working with a mold maker in China. And now that I do China trips and I go to China, I could have had that mold made myself, and I could have had the designs finalized by a DFM, so design for manufacturing designer. You want somebody that specializes in manufacturing. But I could have had my designs done by a DFM, and I could have went to China myself, had that mold made for about 20 grand or less, and then I could have shipped that mold back to this manufacturer. But because I used their third party, there's a markup, a $20,000 markup, but that's part of, it's part of learning. So, and not everybody has the resources when they're first getting started creating something to go. So I have no regrets. I've fully paid off my molds. My product is profitable. We're relaunching right now with a new version of it. So it's, it's no regrets there, but it was definitely a learning part of the journey.
Cool. Good. All right. Well, I also had another question, but then you did mention it was a shiny object that even you decided not to do it. And that was, well, where do you go for liquidation stuff? And this is more for those people who either might need liquidation, because those of us that are sitting here in the UK trying to find those outfits on the odd occasion that we need to liquidate our inventory. So what would be some of the better ones to go to?
Well, this is really unfortunate because, as you know, liquidation is where products go to die. And I hate those coaching calls that I have where I have to tell somebody, like, it's time to let it go. It's not making you any money. You're actually paying Amazon to sell your product. Let's liquidate, right? So unfortunately, and fortunately, there are so many liquidation providers, and you're not going to make any money liquidating, as you probably know. You're going to have to take it at a loss, but it's less of a loss than if you were to have it destroyed.
Yeah.
You're going to recover something. But what I would recommend is simply just type in to Google liquidation buyers. And if wherever your country is, if you're selling in the US, liquidation buyers US, and then you're able to see there's a lot of different ones. So in that way, you can cast a wide net, because that's what you want to do, right? You want to cast a wide net. We have a Facebook group called Wholesale and Bulk Lots where people post that stuff. RebateJet, if you're a seller, if you're logged in as a seller on rebatejet.com, you can actually list your liquidations for other sellers. So there's a couple of liquidations in there. It pulls the data right from Amazon. But yeah, so just you want to kind of cast a net. So, listed on RebateJet, listed on, call each of those of those liquidation buyers, and kind of put it out there and see where you might be able to get rid of it. And same thing, if you're looking for liquidation inventory, it's the same thing, like liquidation buyers, liquidation pallets, that kind of stuff. You can search that and find it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's you can actually try it out. The website is usecart.com. So I'll put that in the Jane already took care of that for us. Thank you, Jane Thorpe. Usecart.com, and it's just a Shopify kind of, it shows the different products that are selling and how much they're selling. Oh, it's product based, but based on Shopify. Yeah, because, we have all these Amazon data tools, which is really great. And that's actually when I do use my product research tools, is when I'm doing that competitive analysis and I want to know, okay, well, this is kind of like this other product, but my differentiation actually matters to the customer. How well is this other product selling, right? So, and then I use the tools to look up the puppy, heartbeat kind of thing, right? So yeah, so it's kind of helpful to see how things are selling on other platforms. So Etsy, you can actually look on Etsy and see how many reviews there are. And so that will tell you like how many products are selling on Etsy, and that's really awesome. Those of you who aren't selling on Etsy yet, man, Etsy's like Amazon was 10 years ago. Get on there, get it going. It's amazing. It's good stuff. Of course, Etsy is not for every product. It's supposed to be like handmade, but if you have one of those handmade looking products, make it happen. Well, I was on Etsy for a year, 2018 to 2019. I made one sale. Yeah. That's how I feel about eBay. Like I started on eBay in 2007 and it was so scammy. And like, man, I really don't like this. So I just kind of stuck with Amazon. But same thing, like during COVID, I made a ton of sales on eBay because Amazon wasn't delivering on time, right? Right. But yeah, certain stuff, Sharon says I have a few items on Etsy with no sales. So, okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So next week, for the first time ever, we are not going to talk about Amazon. We are actually going to talk about eBay, and we've got a gentleman called Jake Williams, who's a Brit but living in Australia. So it's going to be quite an interesting time for him, plugging into our show on Thursday of next week. And he's going to be taking us through an eBay journey if you're an Amazon seller. So he's going to cover a little bit of, well, what if you're not on eBay yet at all? And also a few tips and hacks about how to make it work for you, even if you are already on eBay. So it'll be quite an interesting session, particularly for those of us that are still kind of haven't explored eBay fully. He is actually a 7-figure Amazon seller and an eBay seller, so he does understand both marketplaces. He actually does a form of merch. He's a gift company that he's created, and he runs his own printing presses as well. So he has his own manufacturing and goes direct to market with both Amazon and eBay. And so he's got a very interesting perspective and an interesting story. Cool. And as ever, we must also thank our sponsors, which are Payoneer. And for those of us who, I actually was looking for a new piece of functionality that it appears that they have. They've just partnered with an AI bank called Anna, which is an app available in the UK for UK sellers, where you can talk to your bank, i.e. talk to the app, and it does all your banking for you, which is quite cool. So do check out Payoneer and make sure that you're using them if you're a member of the Scale for Retail community. We obviously have a really nice offer, which is, I think, is it $100 off your first 1,000 deposited into the account, something like that. Yeah, no problem. Cool, good. All right. Well, we better bring this to a close. We have gone on a little bit more than most of the time, but it was so amazing, Amy, and you're such a passionate speaker, and we definitely look forward to having you in the UK. And to everyone else, thanks for your patience. Thanks for joining us, and hope you do the homework. All right. Bye-bye. Bye.